the action is great because at any moment, any person can die. And how often can you say that about Star Wars action? I didn't realize that Konnor was such an advocate for the Second Amendment, concealed carrying both those guns.
I was about to say, don't even need a lightsaber.
Kind of how the episode closes is with a scene with May and Osha. And the episode really falls off here, unfortunately.
Gets really rough for me. And I think it's because it's only one actress.
Clearly got something going on with Master Soul.
Yes.
What's going on here?
Yeah, what do you think? I think there's something to him saying, you know, you'd call me a Sith. I'm not 100% sure he's entirely a Sith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just me
so
personally.
You think he's lying?
Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Dune Sea, a show about that galaxy far, far away and beyond. My name's Seth.
And I'm Konnor.
Konnor, hit me with that favorite comment.
All right, our favorite comment from last week was from a community post, the poll, actually from today's episode. Ooh. I thought this comment was great. It was a reply to another individual in the thread from an @JayTheWheels. I think the show deliberately paints obvious things as mystery to get the audience to focus on the wrong things and obfuscate what the real mystery is in an effort to keep you guessing and speculating. The show was never about whether May and Osha were twins or whether Konnor is the Sith. It's always been how the Sith exploit the Jedi's nature for their own goals. The Jedi's way is framed as fantasy, and the Sith's perspective of the Jedi are really in the Acolyte. Given how the real world is at the moment, I don't think it's a hard thing to sell. And themes with Konnor's sentiment, I think the true mystery of the show is how the Sith managed to put the Jedi in a morally ambiguous position, get them to commit immoral acts, and then expose them for being frauds and hypocrites. The show is sort of like the test kitchen for a recipe for disaster that would eventually span across the galaxy during the prequel era. Absolute heater of a comment right there.
They sure they don't want to start a show?
Yeah.
My goodness.
I mean, nailed it on two fronts.
Yeah.
Right? Like nailed it about the nature of the mystery of the show.
Yeah.
I love that, about obfuscating what the mystery really is. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you think that you're trying to guess this while it's all a misdirect. It's like a magician's trick. You know, you're watching them do this while all the while.
It's really about this mystery. Yeah.
And I love the thing at the end, like maybe the Sith are testing something here.
Oh, totally.
Testing something that will eventually evolve into the grand plan.
Yeah, or testing those waters. Is it time to reveal ourselves to the Jedi? At last, will we have our revenge? Nah, I think you got to wait, another 100 years. Yeah, or so. Then you can try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good comment. Great comment.
Yes. Well, I guess we should probably talk about that episode, right?
Yeah, should we? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of mid.
I was going to say, we could watch Raiders of the Lost Ark if you wanted.
Dude, I'm so down.
All right. So overall, I enjoyed the episode. I did have a good time. I guess, other bookend to last week's episode, because last week was a lot of like setup, as opposed to this that was a lot of just payoff and fighting.
Day versus night. Yes,
exactly. Look at that. The moths came back.
You called it.
I did. Mothman and his friends helped save the day. I love it. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Literally, it was nighttime for me in this episode. That I felt like the episode really fell off after the fight, and we'll get more into that later. And I didn't care for the geography, which we'll get into. Like, I didn't care for the location that this all kind of happened in.
Okay, interesting.
So,
interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
For me, it's about time, man.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted from the show. It's not about the fighting either, by the way. The fighting was great. I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I wanted the show about the bad guys. That's what we were pitched. It's the show about the bad guys. What are they thinking? What's going on before the prequels?
Yeah.
How do the Jedi get to how they are? In 5 episodes in, with 3 episodes to go,
I know.
We're here.
I know.
And I'm like,
took long enough.
And also, some slick fighting to boot. We got some glow sticks smacking each other. And I'm here for that any day of the week.
Didn't that feel good when the episode opened up with her opening her eyes and you could hear them clapping?
Yeah, I know.
I'm like,
I really wondered as soon as it opened, I was like, how are they going to start this episode? Because as we know from last week, it was the same writer and she wrote this as kind of one block.
Yeah.
It was too long. They had to cut it in half. I was like, how are they going to just start this? I did like kind of the slow roll in and then, you hear it and then it's just, oh man, they're fighting in the forest.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I really liked it. But like you, I do have nitpicks.
Oh yeah.
I have nitpicks probably kind of in the same areas that you do. Wasn't perfect, but if the show had more of this,
is anything really though?
There's been some episodes of live action Star Wars that are pretty up
good.
there. I think when it's all said and done, I could almost see this kind of living up in that pantheon of maybe a top 5.
Yeah.
Of
this episode.
Yeah, with like a live action Star Wars episode. We'll see how it all shakes out because I think that everything is kind of a sum of its parts. And so I think this episode suffers from some things that lead up to it, but it may benefit from things that precede or that come after it.
Yeah,
we will of course see as time goes on. But overall, I mean, if this is the momentum that we're going to see going forward, if this is the energy, if this is the tone, more of this, please. Even though it's not perfect, this is what I was hoping from this show.
Yeah,
and now we're getting it.
Yeah.
More of this, please.
I got you.
With that, let's get right into the meat, the nitty gritty. This was basically like a 30-minute fight scene.
Yeah, I was going to say that I've watched it twice.
I have as well.
Yeah, that I was like, the majority of it is a fight scene, but then like, even because I don't like the stuff after it, that felt even longer the second time.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
That's not good.
So
okay.
I think,
and I hope everyone knows too. I guess I hope the homies at home know me better than that I don't really care about glow sticks smacking against each other. It's about why those glow sticks are smacking against each other. That's what I really care about. But like, it just like the stuff around it wasn't great in my opinion.
That's a great point. I'm glad you said that because I've seen a lot of this sort of, as we all know, the discourse around the show is sort of hard to sift through anyway, but
I feel like Han trying to navigate an asteroid field.
That's a good way to put it. But I've seen a lot of people say it's like, oh, even though this had great action, like it's the stuff around it though. It's like, it's not like it saves it.
Yeah.
And so, you're right. It's like great action. Yeah. If it's not backed up by great story,
it's true.
It's just kind of it's meaningless. But I think there is something to say about truly great action as well. Like we've kind of joked a little bit that the Duel of the Fates is great action.
Yeah.
But why those guys are all fighting, they don't really know each other. Like they don't know Darth Maul.
No.
But it's more of a galactic type scale.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why they're fighting. And so I think here, even though maybe we haven't done as great a job building up to
why they hate each other,
why these specific people are fighting, I do think for all of its faults, I am starting to sort of see the vision for this show now, finally, 5 episodes in. And what I think really does work here is that it builds into this bloodbath. And so the action is great because at any moment, any person can die. And how often can you say that about Star Wars action?
We'll admit that's pretty wild. That like, because there was multiple times where I was like, oh man, what? Okay, I didn't expect that. Yeah, that just
right?
Yeah.
Like it starts and the red shirts start getting killed, right? And that's funny that if you guys are following some of the behind the scenes for the last week, they wrote them as red shirts in the script.
Okay,
that's how they referred to them. And then it starts to become clear pretty early that not even our named cast is safe.
Yeah,
and once that starts to become clear, then I was like, oh,
is everyone going to die? Yeah.
Is May safe? Is Osha safe? Is Soul safe? Is Jecki safe? Is Yord safe? And it's like, no, none of them. Like, and so at any point during this episode, I truly did not know who was going to come out on top. And that's hard to do, man. That's tough.
It's true.
Like, I can't think the last time that I watched a Star Wars fight scene and really thought that. Like, even going back to like Ahsoka. Her versus Balin, it's like they're not killing off either of the main characters in episode 4.
No, I got you.
Okay, you know, episode 5 with her and Anakin. It's like, okay, this is more of like a vision, dream sequence.
This is a lesson. no, neither of them are dying.
Cool fight. I like why they're fighting. It's more than that, right?
Mhm.
But there's not stakes in the way that somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And then even in the end, like her versus Morgan,
Yeah.
I had like maybe a little bit, like maybe Ahsoka might get hurt, but probably not.
Not
right?
likely. Yeah. She's got to help save the day.
And like even going to like the sequel trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
there was never really a time when I was worried for my character. I remember it being rather shocking when Kylo got stabbed.
Yeah.
And then he got force healed, and then everything was fine.
Yeah.
And then he kind of dies at the end.
He got knocked down
other
the
means,
hole.
and then he got thrown down a hole. You know,
Yeah.
So a truly great feat, and I think that that's only possible because we spent so long with some of these characters. Now, I wish that it would have been a little more exciting. I wish the pacing would have been a little better. I wish that the characterizations would have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
But we did get time. Even if the time was not the greatest time, we did get time with Yord. We did get time with Jecki.
Yeah.
And I feel a little mean with Yord. I'll be real. I was talking.
I was
smack
wondering
in a group
about
chat.
that. I was wondering if like you were going to change your tune because even the manner he died, I thought was sad.
It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like I saw that, and I kind of felt a pit in my stomach because I was like I didn't like the character, but like I didn't like the character in the way that I think that he was written for me not to like him.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like him like just that. I wanted him to just go away. You know.
Yeah.
So excellent payoff. Really excellent payoff. And I have a quote here from Daphne Keen, who plays Jecki. From an EW article from Entertainment Weekly. They came out with a big spread today. Really great to sink your teeth into. Go in there. There's a lot of great stuff. So I got a few quotes I'm going to be reading throughout our discussion here, but this one's really good about like kind of how expendable everybody was.
Mm-hmm.
So Daphne and forgive me, the guy who plays Yord, I don't remember his name. They both were told basically from day one when they were cast, you guys aren't making it out, right?
Yeah.
You guys are going to die. So have fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
And the actor who played Yord said that was kind of freeing in a way because he got to build to that. And it wasn't about like, oh man, is my character going to be killed off? Like, am I going to have a job next week? It's like, no, he knew from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I thought that was smart because I know that some directors go the other way and it's a surprise.
Yeah.
And so Daphne says here, or rather reading from the article, but even the victims themselves appreciated the extreme death toll put in place to raise the stakes. From Daphne, there are so many directors in blockbuster sagas that are so scared to kill off their characters and are so comfortable with bringing characters back to life. And all of these little writer tricks that I think are quite cheeky. And I think that she was actually, and I really like that she was actually killing people, because if you're not making it dangerous, then why are we even here? Why are we concerned by the story? Why do we even care? Leslie has such a backbone as a writer to make you fall in love with these characters and then to slaughter them like pigs and be like, yeah, this is our villain. We're not saying that he's so big and scary. We're showing you that he's big and scary. I think she hits the nail on the head here. It's like, I've not loved all the decisions that Leslie has made as a writer and as a storyteller thus far, but I think this is one thing she absolutely has nailed is the stakes with this fight.
Yeah.
And I think that Daphne is also right that a lot of writers are afraid to kill their characters.
Mm-hmm. It does. I mean, coming out of it going forward, we now know that Chimera is a threat.
Yes.
And there you go. Like that he is not to be trifled with.
He's scary.
Yes. And that, he's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
So mission accomplished.
It's a great point. It's like, now, you're not showing us, you're telling us, because this is the first time we see him in action, and he proves that why he's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't just do so with a bunch of red shirts. He does so with the people that we've grown to love. It's like, wow. So
or hate.
Or hate.
Yes. Love to hate.
Right.
Yeah.
So good. But credit where it's due. I mean, like I said, even though some of these characters haven't been my favorite, I did really like Jecki. So that was sad. But,
she's fun. Was fun. Reminds me very much of Game of Thrones. I know I keep bringing that up, but like, and I know you've never watched it.
I've
right?
not, but I've heard about the infamous Red Wedding, and I've heard this being compared.
Similar, because again, like the Red Wedding happens after, I think it's a book and a half, 2 books of build up. And then all of a sudden, most of the main players die that are good guys. Yeah. And it's like, well, where do you go from here? Because now the balance is very different. Yeah. So it's kind of wild.
So we're talking about the stakes. And about how it was scary that some of our characters died. Well, what about the choreography?
Yeah.
Because before this, you remember there was an infamous quote, I think from Daphne Keen, if I'm not mistaken, about how they were shooting to be better than Duel of the Fates.
Oh.
A lot of people took umbrage with this statement.
Yes.
I can't believe they're trying to be better than the greats.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be real, I had a little bit of issue with it.
I believe that we had a conversation about this, really.
We did, but I don't think we ever talked about it on the show.
No, but I feel like that in the DMs, we did talk about that. Yeah.
I'll be real, I was one of the curmudgeons out there that was like, now, get out of here with this. But you know what? I was convinced by some of our other fellow creator friends, and I think you as well. I was like, yeah, why not shoot to be as good? You always want to shoot for stars.
Yeah.
You know? I don't think that she was, I took it initially as disrespect, and I don't think that that's what she was doing. I think that she was like, hey, this is the standard for everybody. Yeah. Okay, let's be as good or better. And why wouldn't you want that? Yeah. Right? Like, I'd be disappointed if they what if she came out and was like, hey, we got this fight choreography, and it's like, we know we're not going to be as good as the prequel. So we're aiming for mid. Yeah.
Well, we're going to try and be better than old Ben Kenobi and Darth Vader on the Death Star.
Right. So it's like, props for giving it a shot. I personally, I don't know that it's better than that fight. Yeah. Just because I think that.
But you should also get out there that I think it's weird that we hold the Duel of Fates on this like high pedestal. Because I don't think that's the best prequels fight either.
I mean, I don't either. I think Obi-Wan versus Anakin is for sure.
I think it's way better, but I think it's just wild.
But I get why there's such reverence for the Duel of the Fates. It is an excellently choreographed fight. Yeah. It is. But
let's be honest, it doesn't pick up until like they get caught between the doors.
I don't know. I mean, that's cool. That's definitely the best part. It's the climax of the fight. Exactly. But I think there's great build up to it.
I mean, I do like that part where Darth Maul throws the droid head at the wall.
That's great. And then the stuff in the where they're on the bridges, people are falling down levels and stuff. Yeah. I think it's good. I mean, you have there's a lot of moving parts with that fight that make it so great and why it's held to such high esteem in fans' eyes. There's the choreography, there's the setting, music. There's the music. Yeah. Which don't worry, guys, we'll get to the music.
Got a lot to say about that.
Here, also a lot of moving parts. They don't click together quite as well as Duel of the Fates. Yeah, they click together well. Yeah, just not quite as well.
Gotcha.
And the other thing with Duel of the Fates is it's also a climactic battle of a movie, and so you have like three other scenes that are, because you have Padme, you have Jar Jar, and you have Anakin. Yep. And they're constantly sort of weaving in between all these storylines. Here, you're really just cutting between May fighting Jecki that eventually becomes
all the same fight. Yeah.
Which that's cool. I like that natural weave, but it's all kind of a one location thing, which is cool. It's cool. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying it just doesn't have the same spectacle, which is fine.
It's TV. Yeah. It's a movie. It's hard to compare.
But all that to say, fight choreography was excellent.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me more of a live action Clone Wars. Okay. With how they moved. That that you get a lot of fast movements, then things would slow down, then fast movements again, like that early Clone Wars,
because they can really get into it on the animation.
Exactly. And that's kind of how I feel like that that's what the movements kind of reminded me of, especially at first, where it was a little jarring. And I'm like, whoa, they're moving kind of odd. But then I got used to it. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting right away to seeing how the Stranger, as he's officially been kind of called the Stranger. How he is, he moves in a very like fast and fluid, but almost jagged way. Yeah.
It reminded me of like if Kylo Ren had some more training.
Interesting.
If that makes sense. Where he's still swinging for the fences, but like he's not swinging it like it's like a claymore where like every swing is his last swing, if that makes sense. Where it's like there's a natural flow and momentum to what he's doing, where it's like, okay, it's getting faster, big swing, now it's faster, big poke, like that sort of thing.
See, I got more of a younger Palpatine from it, because I thought he had a lot more like fluidity, but a lot of stabs. Like when he's fighting Soul, it's strike, stab. Yeah. And then, I mean, he stabs Jecki, and there's a lot of stabbing going on.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, he skewered those two people.
Yeah. I mean, and he also uses the Force a lot. Yes. Which I love that. We don't see that a lot, I feel like, in fights, lightsaber fights. I don't know why. Yeah. But I feel like we don't see the use of the Force a whole lot.
Yeah. You love that rock throw in the Balin fight.
I do. Yeah. I do love that.
Yeah. It's droid great. Head hitting the wall. Yeah, I think that stuff's fun.
I just think that, like that shot of expertly directed, in my opinion, where he stabs the one guy, calls the other guy through, it skewers the other guy into that saber, and then cuts their head off as the camera moves behind a tree.
Yes, you don't see it.
Just to obscure that last little bit of carnage. Expertly directed.
Oh yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Which, hey, it's such a weird like whiplash dichotomy here, because it's like some episodes I'm like, I think have abysmal direction and have abysmal camera work. But then here it's like, oh man, I think that they're doing a great job. It's like everything's kind of hitting. The only thing visually, I'll say, I thought there's one in particular, like transition, where it's right after the title card. So the title card comes in right when the stranger first encounters Master Soul, and they have this standoff, and then it's the Acolyte. Yeah. And after that, we cut off to May, I believe, and we see May goofing around for a minute, and then it's like a wipe into Soul and Chimere.
Dude, the use of the wipes were like, why weren't they like using the wipes as like actual transitions into other things? Instead, they shouldn't have been doing that, because
they were a little random.
I didn't like it. That like, I feel like that, no, like George didn't do that. He was, and I know that like they're doing their own thing and they want to feel like that, but like he would just flash between different things and then use the wipe as like that. Now we're done. But all of this, unfortunately, is all intertwined. So I wouldn't have done any of that like fancy stuff.
I agree.
Yes.
You know what it felt like? It felt like
an 8th grader giving a PowerPoint presentation.
No.
This is my next favorite part.
It felt like we've had this criticism before of like some creators will do something based off Star Wars, and then other people will base things what George was based off of, what George based Star Wars off of. Yeah. This felt like, oh, Star Wars did it, so we got to do it because we're making Star Wars. Yeah. It didn't feel thought through in some points. I'm like, man, that would have been a lot better as a cut. Yeah. I don't think we needed a wipe right there.
I agree.
Because wipes are slow.
Yes.
And that's what like a fade is almost like a cardinal sin of like editing. Like when you're starting out, I remember this when I first started out editing, I put fades everywhere. Yeah. And I remember being told by a mentor at the time, it was my pastor at the time. He went to film school. Yeah. He was like, you got to chill with the fades. Yeah. Like I'm like, but I just learned how to do it. You know, I got to put them everywhere. But it's
to let the audience breathe. Yeah. If you do it too much, got too much air.
Like anything, fades have their place, and so do wipes have a very minimal place. They just so happen to have a place in Star Wars because it's kind of ingrained in the DNA. Yeah. But you got to be careful with it, you know, and I do agree. It's like, it's
too much of a good thing.
Yeah. But one odd thing too, while we're mentioning this, where was Soul?
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Is like, I had no idea of the geography of any of this, where like randomly people are near each other, but then like not near each other because we ran the opposite direction. And it's like, well, wait a minute, how can you hear them over there? There's no way. You were running the opposite direction of them. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff where I'm just like, conveniently the characters aren't there when they should be.
So I always like to give,
unless he just got force pushed, because you see that in the opening.
That's what I was about to say. You see
like all the red lines where they must have gone far away.
I like to give the benefit of the doubt where I can. So even though I think that's kind of clunky, my perspective is, okay, we follow Osha. We see that one Jedi died. So the stranger pushes everybody. He immediately kills the one guy. Yeah. Maybe Soul got really pushed back. Yeah. Maybe he got an extra little jolt. Yeah. And he got knocked out for a moment to give Chimere time to start dealing with those other 5.
Yeah, the scrubs. Yeah.
And then Soul is running back. But it's like, also, how did it take you so long to get back? Did it just take you a long time to get up? Like, there's some questions to be asked because like Soul's the only one who's holding his own against this guy. Yeah. And so where were you to protect your squad? Yeah.
Squad up.
That's the biggest, as far as the choreography is concerned. I think that's the biggest misstep here. Yeah. I think when you arbitrarily have to just move somebody out of the way, I don't like that.
No, I don't like it either.
Because I don't think that they do that anywhere else. Like, I think that they did a pretty good job of having the 1v5 where he's like either disarming or he's blocking or he's like hitting someone.
Well, when he got done fighting Soul, he just randomly left. And then he went over to go try and help in the middle. We're like, it was like, no, why didn't Soul just follow him?
I have thoughts about that.
Okay, all right.
I have thoughts about that later.
All right.
But as far as like, I'm talking more about like openings, right? Because like in The Last Jedi, that fight's kind of terrible because people were just swinging just to swing to make it look like they're doing something. And like they could have gone into fight. And when you have that many people, when it's like 7 versus 2 in that case.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
And so you need to make it make sense. And I thought they did a pretty good job here of having 5v1.
Yeah.
And so it's weird just to throw Soul out of there just because to build up to your moment later. I don't know. That was my one thing that I didn't care for as far as the choreography was concerned.
Did you miss the little lens flares when the lightsabers hit each other?
I've always missed those. From
something nice from the prequels. Yeah.
Yeah, those little
because they kind of do it every now and then in the sequels sometimes, but not all the time. But yeah.
I know it's a creative choice and I'm not hating on it, but it's something in Disney Star Wars that I thought was cool in the sequels, which like these blades that actually emit light.
Yeah.
And so it gives a practical element to the, like they feel real, right? Yeah. I think they're a little overdone in the Disney Plus stuff. They look a little too thick.
Yeah.
And they also, I think they add weird limitations because when they're just sticks, they can really have some fun with it. They can just go nuts. And now there's just a little extra they got to mess with.
Yeah.
Little extra setup. They cast light. So there's that.
Yeah.
I know it's a personal thing. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who love it. But me personally, I'm like, I think that they go a little too hard with it. And you don't notice it as bad here as you do in Kenobi.
Yeah.
Kenobi, it's like
dark in Kenobi. That's the whole thing. Like this, like you could see a little bit like on Soul's face and stuff like that.
I think they probably learned from Kenobi because Kenobi, I think they were trying to
jarring.
I think they were trying to use the lightsabers as key lights.
Yes.
Which is a creative choice.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a misunderstanding about how digital works versus film. Corridor Crew does a great breakdown on this about how like film captures blue light, for example, versus how digital does.
Yeah.
And it would have worked if they would have shot on film, but they didn't. They shot on digital. And so you get these really kind of ugly looking highlights everywhere. I think they do a better job here of lighting their characters, not just using the lightsabers.
Yeah.
But it's still just, I don't know, it's a little much. It's like, I guess it's just me being grumpy because back in the prequel days and back in the OT days, I liked that they look a little more fake, for a better term. Like it's one of the few areas where I thought that the rotoscoped CGI, and that's not even fair to call it CG because it's not computer generated, but the rotoscoped visual effects
technique,
looked better than the practical. At least in my opinion. I don't know. I just think it has that kind of nostalgic 80s look to it.
Yeah.
Where it looks hand drawn, you know, where now it has that, like, it does look more tangible. It does look like it's actually there in probably ways that it didn't in the other movies. But I don't know. I think something was lost in translation. At least that's my opinion.
I gotcha.
So more about this fight.
Right? Yeah. No,
let's talk about it. It's kind of broke up, right? You've got like him versus the 5.
Yeah.
Where he kills all the red shirts and then he cuts up Yord's leg. And then
just slices it. You said cut off his leg.
Cuts up.
Cuts up
his leg. Yeah. And then you have him versus Soul.
Yeah.
Round 1.
Yeah.
And then you have him versus Jecki, round 1. And then you have him versus Soul and Jecki.
Yeah.
So
we should just start with how Soul describes how he fights. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like he says, he's super unorthodox.
Oh, you mean Yord?
Or I'm sorry. How Yord says that.
Yeah, he doesn't abide by the rules of combat. Yeah. There's no method in his movements.
Yeah, I love that. I'm all about that. And then too, how they follow it up with these, like, he's in my head. And I'm like, what the heck's that mean? But I'm like, that's totally like a Sith thing. Like, I'm like, we've kind of been giving her a hard time. But like with that line, I'm like, by George, does she get it? Does she understand that, like, because that's how you beat a Jedi, is you throw them off, that it's like that they've trained thousands of years in this style of combat. Okay, fight differently. Use the weapon differently. Have your lightsaber have a little shiv that pops off that they aren't going to know is coming. Use a double-bladed lightsaber. Use a lightsaber with a curved hilt. Have a lightsaber that shoots from your wrist and then you do a 900 at them. That while force screaming. That's... I love it. That I feel like that's what I wanted.
It's great.
Yes, and that's what I think that's what it means to be like a warrior Sith, if that makes sense. You're not willing to fight fair. You will, you know your enemy and you're going to pick them apart.
Well, I also find it fascinating. Like, remember his speech he gives to May in episode 1? You cannot fight a Jedi with a weapon. Steel or laser are no threat to him. Yet what does he do here? He does fight them with a laser. But he proves he doesn't need it.
No.
Because what does he do to Yord? Yord takes his helmet.
Yeah.
Takes off his blade. And what does Kymir do? Snaps the guy's neck.
Snaps his neck.
And so he proves the lesson to May to kill a Jedi without a weapon. And I think
it's crazy during this too. He's trying to teach her when he's fighting Jecki.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, hey, this is what you should be like.
You're right. Yeah, I know. But it adds a whole new layer to that. That like to fight a Jedi without a weapon. We speculated last week that it was like about the dark side of the Force. Well, I think now it's another layer. It's like, hey, don't rely on your weapon.
Yeah, you can be the weapon.
Yeah, you are the weapon. It's not about the Jedi rely on their weapons. This weapon is your life.
Yeah.
You know, that they're the dogmatic ones. We're not.
Yeah.
We don't follow those strict rules. We do what's necessary. And if it calls for it, you throw that thing down and you snap a guy's neck.
Yeah, if you need to. And my goodness, I don't think this guy's ever skipped an arm day.
Yeah, right. As soon as he ripped off that cloak, I was like, homeboy.
I was going to say, that's the real mystery of the show. Like that was the real secret that they were hiding. My goodness, that he's jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he did not seem it when he was Kymir. He looked like we were calling him Ezra Miller 2.0 or whatever. Yeah. Knockoff Ezra Miller. Oh, no.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Kymir was such an advocate for the Second Amendment, concealed carrying both those guns.
I was
underneath
about to say, don't even need a lightsaber. Anyway,
it was good.
I felt like I needed to say that just because I was like, as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh, I think I like, because going into it, I was really nervous with the trees blocking kind of the fight. I'm like, tell me this isn't just going to be it.
I thought the same.
Yeah,
actually,
I was like, oh no, that like we're not going to see it, and that it's going to be kind of an obscured scene from like we're just getting Osha's perspective basically. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, you know, we might actually be in for something special. Well, you've piqued my curiosity now. Yeah, now you got my attention. Yeah.
I mean, the way he fought was like when he fights Soul in particular, I thought that was fascinating because he changes up his style a little bit. He's a lot more cautious.
I think Soul's the only one that he knows
poses a threat.
That could hurt him. Yeah.
And he pauses many times to talk to him, which I think is really fascinating. And then I think he lets him live. We'll talk about that in a minute, though, about him and Soul.
Yeah.
But then he fights Jecki. And I love this first interaction with Jecki because he's clearly toying with her to start with. He's just kind of like, I love charging at her.
Yeah.
And he's, May, like, you can learn. She's a loyal pupil.
Yeah.
Hey, come on. And he only, I think Jecki only gets the upper hand on him for a moment with the surprise second saber because she has Kelnaka's saber.
And gosh, man, did you get Ahsoka vibes?
Oh yeah,
100%. And that's another thing that made me feel like that it was like Clone Wars. Is I was like, dang, dude, like we did not get this in the Ahsoka show.
Yeah,
that like,
well, she's older.
Who, Rosario?
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about even
like
in
the
the
character.
Yes, yeah.
Well, she wasn't fighting any like lightsaber wielding characters in the flashback. I thought in the Siege of Mandalore, she was kind of moving like that.
Yeah, I felt like though that like this was on another level. Well, that was just
to Daphne Keen's credit, she is very talented.
Yes,
when it comes to choreography,
I mean, she is X-23.
Yeah, she's very talented. No, I love that she held her own. And I knew this as soon as I watched the episode. I was like, I bet you there are going to be people that this is going to be the thing this week. You know, last week I was like, the NPC factory is going to be issuing out tickets. They're going to be like, I can't believe this Padawan could hold her own against this Sith Lord. Let me point you in the direction of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
45 seconds of the Phantom Menace. He was able to hold his own.
Not just hold his own, but defeat.
Well, that's after that 45 seconds. But 45 seconds is them like clapping back and forth really fast against each other. Yeah, for about 45 seconds, Obi-Wan holds his own until Darth Maul force pushes him down the hole. Yeah. And then he still ends up beating Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's cool it with the Jecki hate.
Yeah.
All right. And she also, she only holds her own for a moment.
Yes.
And then he's like, all right, see ya. Yeah. I think it's fascinating because he doesn't kill. I don't think he wanted to kill her at first.
Yeah.
I don't think he had any intention to.
I don't think he really wanted to kill any of them. I think that his hand was forced.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think his hand was forced. But I think that out of all of them, he was like, okay, I got to at least maybe keep these guys up.
Yeah.
But the gloves were off as soon as the mask got broke.
Dude. And how cold was that line where she was a child? You brought her here.
Dude, how cold was the line before that?
Jecki!
Jecki, no! Was that its name?
Yeah.
Its name?
Yeah. Well, she's an alien, I guess. I don't
know.
Brother,
that's cold.
Oh, no, I agree that everything he said was insane. And the thing that I didn't even bring out earlier with Yord is that the whole maybe I said something about it, but Yord said he's in my head.
Yeah.
I can't get him out. And I'm just like, dude, that's even crazier. They're like, there's a whole internal battle that we can't even see.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I think we got a flash of it for that one moment when Osha was running. You remember where?
May, you mean?
Or May, where we got that jump scare. I assume that was supposed to kind of represent that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That he's just everywhere.
And it was fascinating to hear that it worked in reverse, where Soul might have been able to read his thoughts had he not had his Magneto helmet.
Yeah. Which, dude, that's cool. Yeah. I think that's just a really fun addition to Star Wars. That there's some sort of material, we've created some sort of helmet that can keep the Jedi out, and maybe it amplifies him so he can be in, or maybe he's that powerful. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
there's another special attribute to this helmet and his gauntlets.
That's true.
Man, that was my first what I was watching is when he blocks the first saber with his face,
dude,
and then the second one like this, and the lightsabers just turn off.
How metal is that? It's just I'm just gonna use my
quite
head.
Literally.
Yes. But just I'm gonna just use my head. That I'm going to be a rampaging bull, basically. Yeah. And you had to correct me on this. I felt so stupid when we got done with the episode. I thought he was damaging the lightsabers. I didn't realize that he was hitting the blades. I thought he was hitting them or he was hitting the hilts and damaging them. And
it's fine.
I was wrong.
Hey, I had to double take it too, because as soon as it happened, I was like, did he just hit that with his face and it turned off?
Yeah.
What in the world happened there?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this is something that exists in Star Wars. This is something called cortosis,
and something that does exist in. It's not just Legends; it is a canon thing.
Canon as well. Yes.
And again, I don't know. So after the episode, I had thought that it was something that. It was a Beskar and cortosis or something like that.
It could be a mixture.
Yeah, because it sounds like Beskar.
It does have a very similar sound effect.
Yeah, when he hits metal. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, continue with. Let's give the lesson. Tell me about cortosis.
Cortosis from Wikipedia. I've got a little excerpt here. Cortosis.
Hey, be careful there.
I know, guys.
Watch your step.
Cortosis was a metal that had a very high energy absorption rate and transmission coefficients, which allowed even the energy of a blaster bolt to be dissipated upon contact. One of the strongest minerals in the galaxy, cortosis could even withstand the blow of a lightsaber and briefly short out its blade.
Yeah.
Which is what we see here. I mean, I think it's very clearly cortosis.
Yes, I was going to say, I remember I was taken back when we started talking about it last night to Star Wars Legends, the Legacy comic books with Cade Skywalker, all the Imperial Knights in that they all have a cortosis weave in their armor. Okay. So they're basically lightsaber resistant. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, it is cool.
An even more fun connection here. The opening of the Darth Plagueis book right here.
Yeah.
It opens with Darth Plagueis and his master, Darth Tenebris, going to a cortosis mine.
They're digging for it.
They're digging for it.
The Jedi don't know about it. They bought this planet.
Yes.
Because of these cortosis deposits. And for hope that maybe they could arm an arm or have it for an army or something like that.
And it's even more just little breadcrumbs that this is not just some random darksider. This is not just some red lightsaber swinging baddie out here.
Yeah.
It's
not just some toothy Sith guy.
Yeah. This is, I mean, and we were told this, and this is why a lot of our comments have been like, guys, why are you so adamant that this is a Sith? I'm like, because she told us that. Mm-hmm. She told us that this was a Sith from the Bane line from way back.
Yeah.
I remember her talking about that we need to see how these characters got to Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that to me says that we're seeing the Bane line here.
Yeah.
And
I think we're getting that path to Palpatine, definitely, which we'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the fight choreography, absolutely terrific. The killing Jecki was another
dude, raw. Cause I think it's just the camera angle. Cause you just see the holes appear and then that's it. And then she falls over. Well,
that was the moment that I thought it was going the other direction. So we get that scene with Yord and Osha where she's like, the scene before that where Sol and Jecki are fighting the stranger, and they have a great master Padawan synergy. It's great.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of kicking his butt a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're going to beat him.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, I wonder how this is going to go. Was this another red herring? Is this guy not important?
Yeah.
Are we just going to kind of bypass this and we're going to move on?
Yeah.
And then we cut to that scene of Osha and Yord, and she's like, he's going to kill all of them. And it's got that really ominous tone. And I'm like, maybe not. And then it cuts back and you get this great overhead angle. It cuts to Kymir shutting off Sol's lightsaber with the cortosis again, and it transitions beautifully into this hand-to-hand combat, and Sol is which another thing, by the way, the transitions between the martial arts hand-to-hand into the saber combat and back and forth
in this episode, then yes.
So good.
Yeah.
And they start fighting him, and Daphne Keen and Jecki starts busting the helmet off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought we were about to go the other direction and they were about to just kill him. Yeah. I was like, oh man, okay, where is this going to go?
Yeah.
And then 180.
Yeah.
Stabbed her 3 times.
With this little baby shiv that he has on the back of his lightsaber.
I didn't expect that at all.
Me neither. No. And I mean, you did see because, you see him unhook it right before she comes in. Yeah. And it's just, and I thought, oh, okay, we're going to get a little 2-on-2 fight, basically. You know what I mean? Because she has both blades.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Cold.
And then too, that like the whole him hiding his face as she falls behind, and then that
shot.
Yes, that nice like creep in, and then it's just I'm like, oh, it is him. Because I'll be honest, I was a little worried that it wasn't him.
I was too for a little bit.
I started thinking that I'm like, is it one of their moms?
Because Osha has that line, right?
Yes. Where I'm just like, there's no way. And like you do see his cloak at one point. You see like his undercloak. Where I'm like, I'm pretty sure Chimera was wearing that before. Yeah. Well,
there was a shot, because I thought the same thing. Osha says about her mom, like, oh, my mom could do that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, there's no way.
Well, there was a shot of him. It was either when he was fighting Jecki or when he was fighting Sol. And you got a really good shot of his arm. Yeah. And I was like, that is a masculine arm.
Yeah.
For sure. Now we know it was a very masculine arm. But
Joe.
But I was like, it's got to be a guy. Like, is it just somebody we haven't seen before?
Yeah.
So I liked that it was a little more obvious personally.
Yeah.
I thought I liked that was telegraphed. And I thought, you know what, I'll just go ahead and read it now. I have a quote from Headland about that.
Yeah.
From that EW article. And I liked actually, as soon as he kills Jecki and then he kills Yord, and May is right there. I like for a moment, he's like, hello. He knows that. He like switches into the personality for a moment.
It is really weird too that like that line, I don't even remember how he sets it up, but he's like, I did wear a mask, or I was that
he's like I was trying to hide myself.
Yeah, it's like, you were forcing me. So it's weird how it's like, I'll admit it does kind of feel a little MCU-y, but it's like good MCU.
I also thought that felt a little, it was teetering on that edge.
Yeah, but I felt like it was still good. Like it reminded me of good Loki rather than like
okay,
bad Loki.
I'm down with that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Or too cheesy Loki. Yeah.
So I like this moment, right, when he it's almost like he's making fun of us, like the audience. It's like it's a meta joke because he says, "Oh, hello," in that voice, takes off his cloak, throws it at Sol, and then just has that like calls her, chokes her, and says like, "Did you really not know it was me?"
Yeah,
like deep down.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a nice sort of telegraph to the audience, like you were supposed to know it was me.
Yeah,
you were supposed to the whole time. It wasn't meant to be a secret. And Headland says this in this EW article. None of that could have prepared fans for the carnage to come in episode 5. For Headland, it was the body count that she wanted to surprise people with, not the actual identity of the stranger. The showrunner anticipated many people would figure out that Kymir, the stranger connection, before the unmasking, and was totally cool with that because she wasn't trying to fool anybody in the first place, intentionally leaving breadcrumbs along the way. Quoting from her, I think a good twist is not about hiding everything from the audience and then throwing it on them like, hey, this is what you didn't see. We hit it so well you didn't see this, says Headland. I think a good twist is telegraphing what's going to happen and then once it does, executing it without an ounce of pity or sentimentality. Yes, 100%. That's what we've been saying on here.
Yeah.
Is that I don't like it when a twist is that it was never telegraphed to you and it's something completely different and it's something completely random and it's like, oh, okay, so this
How would we have known that? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so you just tricked me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, she's right. A good twist, because it also gives you a bit of catharsis as the fans, because a lot of us out here, I know we weren't the only ones, were speculating from day one when it was a little less obvious.
Yeah.
This was Chimera, and now that we get that reveal, you get that little moment as a fan where it's like, I called it.
So smart.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you feel smart as a fan, right? And that's a good thing. It's a good writing thing. It's what makes a good mystery a good mystery.
And I mean, that's what this whole show's all about, is about different little mysteries.
And like we mentioned earlier, it's a good misdirect because that wasn't the thing that she wanted to obfuscate. And what our comment from the beginning of the episode said, it was more about the surprise of, oh my gosh, this guy's scary.
Yeah.
He just killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great. And another little thing about the choreography before we move on. That was really, so Manny Jacinto plays Chimera the Stranger. That was really him. Under that helmet, the whole time, he trained for 4 months.
That's what I like to hear.
That's also what I like to hear.
Yeah.
When you get stories about the Rise of Skywalker and how they only trained for the day before they went and did that fight. When Obi-Wan and Anakin trained for Obi-Wan and Anakin, when Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen trained for 6 months.
Yeah.
Look, you don't have to train for 6 months, but maybe more than a day. That's like somewhere there's a range. There's 24 hours and there's 6 months, right? There's somewhere
there's
within
a happy
there.
in between. Yes.
4 months is great. And they were just doing this fight scene. He said that I have his quote here. I had almost 4 months to train for that fight scene. This was the first time I got to really dig into something with so much action and really make use of my dance background. Because I mean, what is choreography but a dance?
Well, I mean, they talk about that with Chris Evans. Did you know that? That's why he's so good in Winter Soldier. He has he's formally trained in dance. So that's why he looks at it as a dance. And it makes sense. I think I consider professional wrestling a dance. How good your partner is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, continue.
If you say so.
That's what I think.
No, we got a lot of wrestling fans in the audience. I'm not going to make everybody mad at me this week.
Respect it.
So awesome. I mean, like I said, for all the problems I've had with the show so far, I got to give credit where it's due. And putting effort into the choreography, putting effort into the writing here, putting effort into this stuff. Thank you. That's all I asked for.
I think we got to give it up because I mean, we were calling Chimera annoying and everything like that. And it's like, oh no, I mean that as soon as that helmet came off, he's scary. Him, as you just said, him having her by the neck and then forcing her down and spinning that lightsaber in his hand and putting it up to her head and just sitting there. I'm just like, dang, how did they get out of this? And it didn't feel like cheesy after school villain where it's like, we're getting out of here now and you're coming with me. This felt like, oh, she could die any second now because he's just had it with everybody. Especially when he went on his tirade about I gotta kill you all now.
Yeah, I kind of got no choice.
Yeah, that you did this.
Good, so. And you're right. Something I didn't mention, but his performance going from the fool to scary Sith Lord.
Yeah,
really cool.
Yes,
and it's that different dichotomy. And now that we know he can play both well, it's really cool to see. But Palpatine, the kindly grandfather, and Chancellor Palpatine to the scary Darth Sidious.
Yeah,
and now we have. The fool, the bumbling buffoon, and Chimera contrasted to the stranger.
Yeah,
it's neat. It's neat.
I dig it.
So he's clearly got something going on with Master Soul.
Yes,
What's going on here?
Yeah, what do you think? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think he was there that night.
You think? You think Chimera was?
Yes. I mean, I still hope that he's at that tree. When May goes back to the tree looking for Osha, and I think too that he has to be involved in their creation. I think that he is, for lack of a better term, grooming both of them for something.
Yeah.
Especially at the end where he puts the blanket on. I think he clearly knows that that's not May.
Oh yeah, he knows that's not her for sure.
Yeah, but I'm I think that he's grooming both of them for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just
100%. Have you seen those? Have you seen that there are 2 cloaked figures at the Ascension from episode 3?
No, I have not seen that.
2 faceless cloaked figures. A lot of people are like, hey, always 2 there are.
Interesting. Okay.
that could be the Sith.
I could buy that. Yeah.
I could too. And I think that, so the guy who directed episode 3, that flashback episode, is directing episode 7.
So that's where they think the next
I think that's probably where the next flashback is going to be.
Interesting.
Which makes sense that we're going to finally get the rest of the story right before the finale.
And it makes sense too if you'd probably film all of it and then chop it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably when we're getting the flashback.
Yeah.
It's weird, this connection. It's like, I don't know if Konnor was there that night or his master was there that night. Cause that's the other thing. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, I guess. So him and Soul, he says, here's how they start their conversation. Master Soul, don't you remember me? I sense something familiar. Are they just talking about their meeting in episode 2? Because there's a lot of gravitas behind that. If it was just when they hung out for a few minutes in the second episode.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's
more to it than that.
So I thought that's really fascinating. Otherwise, why would Konnor have an assumption that he would
like
recognize
remember him
or remember him?
Mm-hmm.
There's also a couple cold lines he throws out, the stranger does, where he says, Soul says, what master hides his face from his pupil? You tell me. Yeah. That's good. That's a good line.
Well, what's crazy too is just like how does he know so much about Soul if he hasn't been around?
That's what I want to know. I want to know how exactly. Is it just because May told him? Has he been spying this entire time on the Jedi?
Yeah.
It's a great question. How does he know so much about this situation? Because I think, I said last week that I didn't think that they knew about Osha, like Konnor. Yeah. I think he did.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about episode 2 when he sees her for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You look just like her. He's not fazed by it at all.
No.
He knew she was around. He didn't think she was dead.
Ooh, that even like there's no way he doesn't know that that's her at the end. You know what I mean? Because he can tell them apart.
Oh, yeah. He's got.
Because I guarantee we're going to get some, I hope it's not long, but I guarantee next episode we're going to have some, well, I didn't realize it was you.
From who?
From the Jedi. That, you think Soul's going to figure it out right away. I mean, I think Pip and...
well, yeah, it's going to be Pip and Basil.
Yeah, that they're going to be the ones... Yeah, that they're going to figure it out, but still...
Yeah, that's that thread. That's how that's going to wrap up.
It's going to drive me nuts, because I'm like, dude, come on. I just wasn't aware.
And I think the final sort of nail in the coffin here is like during... When Soul is about to kill Konnor.
Yeah.
Darkness, like right...
Yeah, well, that's...
Going to kill an unarmed person.
Well, that's some Obi-Wan stuff, man. What's he... Like... What that was kind of forbidden what he did to Darth Maul. I mean, he hacked him right in half.
Yeah, but he wasn't unarmed or anything. So.
No, but I'm just saying that like it's very dark. That's what I'm saying that Obi-Wan took that route. What did when back to New Corner? What's Obi-Wan always seemed to do? I mean,
he takes the high road a lot of the time.
He also dismembers a lot of people.
He does.
Yeah, like a lot of people. Just throwing that out there. It just reminded me of that. That's all I'm getting at.
That's true.
Like
that he's got a lot of Obi-Wan vibes, that's for sure.
Yes, and that whole fight kind of reminded me of the Duel of Fates, where it's like old man fighting young man, and then like it takes the loss of a friend to then like that rage that
to push that over
righteous
the edge.
Rage, that righteous
Except
fury.
It's the master rather than the apprentice.
It's true. Yeah,
you get the nice flip.
Yes, you got to say that it's Soul's playing both parts of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon during that fight.
Yeah. And then Konnor says during that moment where like he's got the lightsaber to his neck, Osha, this is your master. You trust him even after everything he did to you. That another question is like, how does he know about Osha and Soul's relationship? That's a big like. His mind is twisted by darkness. I've accepted my darkness. What have you done with yours?
Maybe he was a Jedi at one point too.
Konnor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think that he would recognize him.
And the other thing though too that I think is interesting is that like if he's got this helmet though, he can be around and they can't sense him. He can be in their heads.
That's an interesting point.
So he could be right next to him all the time and they wouldn't know.
Yeah, but that helmet's kind of got a presence.
I get that, but I'm just saying that they could have more.
But he was able to be around them in episode 2 without them sensing.
It's true,
anything.
And so that's the whole thing is that like I mean Palpatine was around the Jedi all the time, hanging out with Yoda, just hanging out with Mace Windu, just whatever, and like they couldn't tell. They had no idea. I guess they do say that like there's like cloud around the Senate or something like or cloud around.
The dark side clouds everything.
Yes,
impossible to see the future.
Yeah, I was just saying that like don't they say something about that the Chancellor has like he's hard to, maybe that's in Clone Wars.
Something like that.
Yeah, that like there's Yeah, darkness.
The dark side of the Force surrounds the Chancellor.
Mhm.
That's it. Yeah, Mace Windu says it.
Mhm.
Which should have been a clue right there, Windu.
Duh.
Maybe some of the keys to some of these answers lie within the music.
Yeah, I noticed some of that.
Yeah, did you?
I think I hit you up about that earlier.
Did you?
I think too that I had to go because I didn't want to be crazy. Because I felt when talking to you, I was like, hey, I heard this. And then you were like, oh, I didn't. And I'm like, am I nuts? So I contacted friend of the channel, Ashton Sherritt.
Ashton Sherritt.
Yeah.
The man
Yes.
behind the music.
Oh my goodness. Go check him out, guys. Like if
He's already dropping some Acolyte stuff. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
It's really, really interesting. And yeah, I was like, hey man, I heard this. Am I crazy? And he goes, oh no, you're not crazy. And I'm like, yes, I did it. I did it. And so do you want to talk about it? Yeah.
Sure. I'll just list them.
Yeah.
That way the viewers could get caught up and then you can kind of talk
Yeah.
about it. So the one that Ashton, I got to inform Ashton about one because I hit him up too.
Yeah.
Because I heard, the only one I heard
Yeah.
was when Jecki and Kymir locked sabers. I heard a dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
That's the only one I heard. And I was like, hang on.
Yeah.
That's part of Anakin's dark deeds. You also pointed out that
Yeah.
you hear it when Kylo Ren holds up the fake dice in The Last Jedi.
And they disappear. Yeah. And you hear Luke say, see you around, kid. Yeah. And when he walks into the base and the dice disappear, he's
Yes.
Yeah.
So you get that theme. You get Kylo's theme when he says that line like extraordinary beings we are, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you get the dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun.
Yeah.
I mean, explicitly Kylo Ren's theme.
Yes.
During the fight, you get the Knights of Ren theme. Watch Ashton's video. He came out the short today. He's got it on there.
Yeah.
And then the final thing, you get just a hair, just a little bit
Yeah. It's a
of
couple notes.
Palpatine's theme.
And this was
The
the one
very end, as the credits close.
as he's throwing the cloak on her. And that's why I was just that was what I contacted you about. Is I'm like, am I crazy? Do you hear that?
I went back. I did hear it. After
Yeah,
you
and I'm
mentioned
just
it.
like, because I heard Kylo's clean as day, and then I was like, at the very end, I'm like, no way, it's all connected. Because I mean, the music's the DNA. You
It
know,
is.
they don't do that for just no reason.
So what does it mean?
I don't know.
Is he a Ren? Is he a Knight of Ren? Is
don't-
he Ren?
Well, doesn't the leader just call themselves Ren?
Yes.
He does dress like Ren. Did you notice that?
He does a little bit.
Yeah, that he looks like Ren.
He does kind of, yes.
Ren, by the way, folks, homies at home, that is who Kylo Ren kills to become the leader of the Knights of Ren.
Yes.
Is that guy?
It's like a title.
Yes, that guy just calls himself Ren.
And he's not a Sith. He's just kind of a red lightsaber wheel. They're like a biker gang.
Yeah, but they also like, it's very like, almost like a Qui-Gon kind of thing where they do just kind of, we just follow the Force, man. Wherever the Force leads us.
They're just a little more on the dark side.
Yeah, just that they definitely for their own personal gain. I think there's something to him saying, you'd call me a Sith. I'm not 100% sure he's entirely a Sith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just me
So you
personally.
think he's lying?
Well, I
Or
don't
not
know.
lying,
I think
you think he's just
he's
manipulating the Jedi.
If you want to put a label on me, man, I guess. But like like that sort of thing where it's like, I just don't believe what you believe. I do things differently than you.
But why use a word like that? Is like,
I know.
that's a word.
Yeah.
Like that's not just something you toss out there. Like,
Yeah.
like that has the worst possible connotations to the worst possible crowd you could be giving it to.
It is true. And I think it really seals the fate that it's like, you have to kill these guys now that you've used these buzzwords because they're going to go tell their friends. Yeah.
So why
You've made your life
why
even
do that
harder.
if you weren't proud of that?
It is true. And then as for the Palpatine, I feel like that it's like, Leslie has said multiple times, this is the path to Palpatine. This is how we know that we're going to get to, set up like the chess pieces for episode 1. So I think that it's like somehow these girls have to be linked to him.
I don't think it's the girls. I think that
Or him, all of that.
Him.
Well,
we'll see where they go.
that's-
Maybe.
I think it's weird though too that it's like why at that moment that it's like that he puts his cloak over her, like that nurture that he's beginning to groom her.
Well, that is a very Palpatine thing, though.
Exactly,
right?
where it's like, no, I'm going to I'm going to take care of you, young Padawan, and then you're going to fight for me. You're going to be my acolyte.
Here's my take.
Okay.
Kind of on that. I think that I think all this music is just meant to show a heritage.
Yeah.
Like that this character, Konnor, he is the heritage of what we come to know in the Skywalker saga as the Darksider. So like our Darth Vaders, our Palpatines, eventually our Kylo Rens, because even though Kylo Ren's not a Sith, he is part of that line.
Yeah.
You know, he is trained by Palpatine, Snoke, right?
Yeah.
And so notice when each of these lines play. The Anakin's dark deeds, when he fights a child.
Yeah.
And Leslie, even in the EW article, makes a joke about that, about how like people were shocked about how gruesome this was. And she's like, well, Anakin killed kids. So, so there's, I think, some intentionality with that. And then Kylo Ren's theme, or the Knights of Ren theme, when he's fighting all these Jedi, it's just kind of more of a general, I think, blanket. And then the actual Kylo Ren theme, when what does he do? Does a little bit of force healing. When's the only time in the Skywalker saga we've seen some force healing?
It's true. With
Kylo Ren. And then Palpatine grooming an apprentice.
Yeah.
I think that all this is meant to be is to show like, hey, this is the lineage. This is the heritage of the dark side that you're seeing. All these themes are just kind of connecting these ideas that will eventually be instilled in our antagonists later
weaving
on.
That Star Wars DNA into everything.
Yeah. So like all of these little like things that make up the worst people that we come to love to hate in the Skywalker saga, the seeds are sown, you know, all of these like, this guy, he's not afraid to do horrible things like murder a child, a Jedi Padawan.
Yeah.
Hey, who else does that? Well, you know,
unfortunately,
Anakin does a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Like Kylo Ren. Oh, he's kind of got a softer bit of nurture. Like he's got that side to him.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. But then he's also got that darker, I'm going to groom this person to do my darker purposes. Yeah. And then you get a little bit of Palpatine.
Yeah.
That's my take.
It's really interesting. I don't
think
know.
It's interesting too.
I don't know what it means. It's blowing my mind last night.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too. Okay. Is Konnor the Sith Lord? I personally am leaning toward yes, he is a Sith Lord.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say the Master because
he's not. I don't think he is the Master, and here's why.
Yeah,
he wants an acolyte.
Yeah.
That phrase is the title of the show.
Yeah.
It's now been used a few times by this character. And he says, I want a pupil, an acolyte. But this one went back on our deal. Interesting term to use the word acolyte and not apprentice, right? Because apprentice has very specific connotation.
Woven into Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. Always two there are, a master and an apprentice. If you would have said apprentice, I think all of us.
Oh, that's the master. Yeah.
Yeah. Would have then... it would have been a signal, right?
Yeah.
But also, what's the dictionary definition of acolyte? Maybe we've just been kind of blowing right past this, missing the forest for the trees here.
Yeah.
A person assisting the celebrant in a religious service or procession. That's what acolyte actually means.
Yeah.
So maybe Konnor, the apprentice, wants to overtake his master. I mean, a bit of a religious service.
It's what Sith do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he needs an acolyte to do that.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't think he's a master. I'd be very surprised if he was the master.
Yeah.
I still don't hate the idea that this is venomous.
He's very boots on the ground, if that makes sense, to be a master, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That he's kind of.
Well, I don't think he wanted there and everywhere.
Oh no! But I'm just saying that the fact that like he was with May.
Oh, okay.
Through the whole thing, you know. I'm not saying just that he had to show his hand in this episode, but I mean he was there.
Yeah,
he was pushing her.
As the character he played, though, even Plagueis did that. Though.
Yeah,
he was out kind of being involved.
He was,
like hanging out with Jedi Masters and stuff.
But not all the time. Like I feel like that.
He did seclude himself quite a bit too.
Yes,
especially when he did become the master, I guess. But I don't know. He got out.
Yeah.
I guess I want to know what's Konnor's plan. Like why do all this?
I mean, I think he needs to have both girls under his control, or at least have favor with both girls.
You think so?
Yeah.
But he tries to kill May.
Does he though?
Oh, for sure. He gets blocked twice.
Yeah.
By Sol and Jecki.
I guess that's true.
I mean, he definitely is shooting.
I mean, he could have turned on the lightsaber though when he had it up to her head.
Yeah, but then he would have lost his. It was a hostage situation. Then Sol would have just attacked him, and then maybe he wouldn't have made it out of that.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
I think Sol was the only one he feared a little bit.
Yeah.
In that situation, it was his only leverage was to keep May alive.
Yeah.
So, he mentions that he wants freedom.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's an interesting idea, is like, a Jedi like you may call me Sith. What do you want? Freedom, the freedom to wield my power the way I like without having to answer to a Jedi like you. I want a pupil, an acolyte, but this one went back on our deal. She exposed me. Now I have to kill every last one of you. I don't make the rules. The Jedi do. And the Jedi say I can't exist. They see my face. They all die.
Yeah.
And like, I get all that in this moment, but what was the point of sending May on her quest to begin with?
Yeah. Again, to create an acolyte strong enough to do whatever he needs to do.
So is that it?
Is that the real, that's probably the real mystery of the show, right? Where these girls came from, what's Chimera actually trying to do?
Okay, but let's take that thread then.
Okay.
Why risk exposure by having your potential apprentice go kill Jedi? There are plenty of, like, you could go send them after mercenaries. Like, there are plenty of other ways that you could train your apprentice. Like, I mean, Plagueis takes Palpatine to, like, that,
the snow
to
planet.
Megiddo, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that where he takes him?
Takes him to the snow planet and like barely, like, keeps him barely alive. Yeah.
That's how he kind of trains Palpatine. So why?
But I think Chimera has some sort of, well, we know that he knows Soul. I think he has some sort of vendetta against this group of Jedi as well.
So he has a personal vendetta.
I think so.
Rather than just May.
I think that, like what we predicted last week, I think that, like, he's manipulating everybody for his own personal gain. I think he's just trying to get everyone to kill each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Chimera has his own vendetta against the Jedi.
I think so.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Do you not think that?
I don't know. I just think it's interesting that he risks exposure. Like Soul says, why do you risk exposure? And he's like, well, I did wear a mask.
Yeah.
But why risk your exposure here now? Everything we know about the Sith.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, his hand was forced, though. I mean,
here it was.
May, I was going to say.
Why send May on the mission to begin with?
Yeah. I mean,
that's
he is holding her hand through all of them.
I know, but why do it at all? That's my question. Why do it at all? The people that you cannot risk exposure the most, the Jedi, why?
Yeah.
Is it just the thrill of the hunt? It can't be, right?
You know, maybe it's because they know about the girls. Get rid of the...
It's a loose end thing.
Exactly. I have to get rid of these other 4 people who know the specifics about how these girls were created, because their moms are already dead. If I get rid of the Jedi, now they're both for me, and they can do whatever thing that they were created to do.
Okay, so Chimera and Master. I'm leaning toward the Master creates the twins.
Yeah.
I don't think Chimera would be powerful enough at a young age.
Yeah.
They could have assisted, but I think more it's the Master.
Yeah.
Creates the twins. Everything's going swimmingly with the Coven.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the Jedi find out about whatever's going on, because we know that they're not just there for the twins. There's something more going on.
Yeah.
And the Sith manipulate the situation to kind of get rid of all their enemies, but there's some loose ends left.
Yeah.
Maybe what needs to happen is, okay, if the Sith went after the Jedi, that's a little bit more suspect.
Yeah.
But what about someone with motive?
Exactly.
What about May?
Yeah.
Because if I was sitting on that council with Vernestra and everybody,
I mean, she even mentioned that already. Yeah.
It's like, I would look at that as like, oh, this person, like, she just looks at all these people who wronged her in her past, and it's motive.
She's just a kid acting out against those that
maybe
wronged her.
Maybe she was
earlier.
trained by a former Jedi, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
I think now we have a huge problem now that there are lightsaber marks, but maybe they'll just deduce that May got her hands on a lightsaber. Yeah. And she did all of this. I bet that's the conclusion we're about to draw.
Definitely that she took Cal Naka's lightsaber and took care of everybody else.
But they'll find Cal Naka's lightsaber cut in half.
Maybe it got cut in half at one point.
Yeah. I guess because Soul's still gone. So maybe he and then apprehended
Soul's
her.
not making it home. I hope everyone's aware of that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
He can't.
Yeah.
He knows the word Sith.
He does. So he cannot tell anybody. Or he's going to just tell like one person, and then they're going to sweep that under the rug. And I bet it's not K.I. Mundi.
Mundi Gate continues.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Hey, there's something we haven't talked about.
What's that?
We got to pour one out for our little homie, Pip.
Pip? He did. He did get he got broken in half, but he got, well, I guess they're still separated.
He's in pieces. Like, she said, I love you. Like, she killed him. That, like, in order for him to just be a forever flashlight. Did that feel really Disney to you? It felt like such 90s Disney movie to me. The
I thought
Mothman and his friends coming and grabbing him and pulling him up. Yeah, that I was like,
yeah. I thought you meant Basil. Basil.
Yeah, but I just that the Umber moths grabbing onto him. That was like, it felt like I was watching The Lion King or Tarzan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reminded me of both those villains kind of killing each other.
That's funny.
And I'm like, gosh, I hope that's not the end of him, because that's insane.
I thought that for a minute too. I was like, wow, is that it? Okay. Yeah. And then he falls at the end. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I was going to say,
out of
there just needs to be more moths. I'm like, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
they set it up well, I thought.
Yeah. Oh no,
in the last episode. And
we talked about that I was like, why show that they have to be involved somehow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last thing was from the final, kind of how the episode closes is with a scene with May and Osha.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode really falls off here, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that this is where it gets really rough for me. And I think it's because it's only one actress.
Yes. Yes. There's no chemistry. You can't have chemistry with yourself.
You can't. You just can't.
You know what this felt like? This felt like the scenes in Rise of Skywalker with Leia.
Mm-hmm.
It's because, like, obviously
they're not there.
There were reasons why it had to be shot that way.
Yeah.
But Daisy Ridley was acting against someone who was not there to act against her. And so you didn't have that natural sort of chemistry.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just saying lines to each other. There's like inflections and facial movements and all this stuff.
How you hold your eyes, even looking at somebody.
Exactly.
It's
none of that was there in this scene.
No, it was very lifeless, and it was very like obvious that it's like, oh, we can't see both of them on screen at the same time because yeah.
And it's unfortunate because Amandla, I think, is a terrific actress.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not her fault. It's kind of, it's a tough thing to do.
It's true.
I think, and also I don't get either of these characters at this point in the show, and really throughout the whole show. I don't know these characters' motivations.
Yeah.
Especially
I'm a little confused.
now.
Yeah.
May, I got her in the beginning. Okay. She has a plan. She has a goal. Okay. Osha, we're following her for most of the show. What is her goal?
And she's just kind of like kicking rocks, going, oh, I guess I'll help you with my sister.
Yeah.
And then in last episode, though, too, with May, like that was odd where she was like, nah, I'm turning sides. Now it seems like she's kind of doing her own thing, but it's still not a nice thing. Yeah.
I don't understand these characters flip-flopping like May, okay, tracking her, right? She had this goal. And then, oh no, Osha's alive. My sister's alive.
Everything changes. Yeah.
Everything changes, right?
Yeah.
And then Jecki attacks her, so she's in self-defense, and Jecki brings up the night where she accuses her of lighting the fire.
Yeah.
That makes her mad. She fights Jecki. Okay, I get that. I'm tracking so far.
Yeah.
But then she's with Osha. She's like, no, the Jedi brainwashed you. You got to come with me.
Yeah.
Still tracking. Okay.
Yeah.
Still tracking. No, it's okay. We're together. Us being together is all that matters.
Yeah.
And then Osha's like, screw you.
Yeah.
I'm arresting you. Force push. You could never block anyway. Guess I'm going undercover to go kill the other Jedi. It's like, whoa.
Why did you decide to do that? Is this the only thing I can think of is like you doing this? Is this somehow going to now, if I remove Soul completely from it,
that's my thought.
No other choice.
That's my thought. But then why leave her there?
Exactly.
Like, why leave her in the throes of your master?
Exactly. Well, she may think that he's dead, even though that's a silly thing to think.
But she didn't even see what happened with the Umbra Moths. She was knocked out by that point.
Yes, she was. Wasn't it crazy that everybody was getting knocked out by that stun gun? But
he shook it off. Maybe it was the Cortosis.
Oh, good thought. Either way, because I was just like, is this guy that much of a Chad? My goodness.
Well, I think if you're expecting it and you're a Force user, maybe you can like take the
shrug it off a little bit.
But like Soul wasn't expecting it. Like it came from behind, and like the other characters, I don't think are powerful enough.
It's true.
But yeah, and then Osha, I know her even less. I feel like I understand her motivation from the beginning. She was arrested. She didn't want to be there from day one. It's kind of that old Indiana Jones argument where it's like if you remove him from the story still happens.
Yeah. Does anything actually really change?
Like remove Osha from this.
Yeah.
Does anything really change?
Maybe May steadies her hand a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
She doesn't change. She doesn't leave the Sith.
I guess she doesn't leave Chimere. And then maybe they figure something else out. So then Chimere doesn't have to murder all the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that changes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what her motivation is. She wants her sister dead, but now she wants to arrest her. And she tells Yord that she can't do it herself anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't get her. I don't get this character. I don't know her motivation. And now she's going to be taken under Chimere. Maybe we'll see a new direction, and I'm hoping it improves.
I think so. I think this is where you know, the potential that she could become the acolyte, maybe.
I think so.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Give me something.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm with you. Also, I think it's really silly with May's plan because I'm like, you have a tattoo on your face. How is anybody not going to know that to you? And don't give me that it's hidden under her hair. You could see it clean
And
as
also,
day.
I thought it was cool that she cut her hair with the lightsaber, but what was with the weird, like,
Yeah.
it was like a ritual? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm missing something, but it was like, she did that thing like she did in the beginning of the show, like attack me with all your strength.
Yeah, very, like, there was a flourish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Why are you doing things?
I don't know.
I hate to say it. And I really, because I like Amandla and I think that she's a good actress. She's been a good presence in the show so far. But I almost kind of wish that I think the show would be better off without May and Osha. Yeah. I think that like if I could restructure the show to be more about like Chimere and his like plot against the Jedi, and now we're following Solon gang like in the mystery there.
It could be interesting though, using them as like they're a MacGuffin. And so you don't have to feature them as much. That's the thing that everyone's trying to get to.
Right, but they're main characters.
No, that's what I'm saying is like that, it's tough. And again, maybe once we have all the pieces of the puzzle,
it could be better,
it could be better.
But we keep saying that, but we're 5 episodes in, and I'm like, okay.
What is this puzzle?
Everything I like about this episode has nothing to do with May or Osha.
It's true.
And it's like, I shouldn't feel that way about my main characters.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that looking back at the rest of the episodes, I'm like, okay, what are the things I don't like? The episode that I dislike the most features them the most.
Is mainly about them. Yeah.
It's like, I hate to say that. I do. Because like, I want to like these characters, but you've not given me a reason to like them yet. And so, and part of that is because you're obscuring their past, which I get is part of the mystery, but in doing so, I don't know their motivations. So we're missing some pieces, and I think that's harming their characterization.
Episode 7. All answers will be revealed.
I hope so. Setting us up for some interesting, like, I think we're now in completely new territory. It's like, it's where are we going?
Because I don't have any idea where it's going now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that it's not dumb twin stuff for too long.
Yeah.
They seem like they solve a lot of problems in one episode.
I know. We're in space parent trap territory now. It's like, all right.
Please no. Please no.
I'm sure you're tired of hearing from our dumb faces, mine in particular, because I droned on about that more than Seth. Let's hear from the homies at home.
Big question.
Clear your mind of questions.
All right, guys, you know the drill. Every week, I post a prompt on Instagram at Beyond the Dunes Sea on Tuesday evenings after the Acolyte episode airs. You can find it then, or of course on Wednesday mornings. We usually ask a question. What are your questions about that episode or whatever topic of the week? Because we're not always going to be talking about Acolyte. Should I make a prompt on YouTube as well? Community post? I've been thinking about that. Let us know.
You should.
Let us know.
Yeah, you can ask us anything. We may not answer it, but they could ask us anything.
Yeah. Throw us something in there.
Yeah.
Why am I holding this mug? Hey, if you've been here the last few episodes, you know we started something here just to sort of counterbalance some of the negativity from the Acolyte. We want to sow a little positivity out there. So we've got a few names in here, and I need to add more names to this list because we're getting a little dry.
Oh, no.
So may only pull one this week.
One? Okay.
We're only going to pull one this week.
Okay.
What am I thinking? We'll pull 2.
Okay.
We'll pull 2. So we're spreading the positivity. All we ask from you, we're going to pull out one of these creators. Just jump over to their channel, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, whatever platform that they're on, and just throw down a like on their most recent video. And if you feel so inclined, throw down a nice comment. Let them know you like their content. Their hair is nice. Their shirt is nice. Their set is nice. They're nice people because they're all nice people at the end of the day, right? Who do we got?
Padawan Pops.
Padawan Pops? Will Padawan Pops, hey, like me, he just became a new dad.
Congratulations, Will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good guy over there at Padawan Pops on Instagram. I will throw up all the rest of his socials. Go over there.
Yeah.
Throw it on a like.
What kind of content does he create?
I would venture a guess Star Wars content.
Gotcha.
He does a little bit of commentary like us. He also throws down some like, Pops wouldn't indicate.
I didn't know if it was like
a little bit of a collector.
Well, I didn't know if Pops was like father or Pops is in Funko Pops. That's right.
Funko Pops.
Funko Pops.
Funko Pops.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I was curious about. Yeah.
Go over there. We'll leave a little mystery. You know, what's Padawan Pops all about? I can assure you he's well worth your time.
Gotcha.
So head over to Padawan Pops.
Cool.
Check him out. Oh, we'll draw another one. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Maybe.
Who do we got? Oh, needs no introduction here, but a little reminder. How about RETNEY'S HOLOCRON? At RETNEY'S HOLOCRON on Instagram or on YouTube. Hey, if you guys don't know, because I'm sure a lot of you guys know RETNEY from YouTube because he's fantastic with his lore videos.
It's going to say quite the brain, quite the truly a holocron.
Quite the wealth of information.
Yes.
But on Instagram, he does, and on Twitter, I believe. I don't have a Twitter, so I can't say for sure, but I'll put it up if he's got one. On Instagram, he does a lot of really great, like, reactions right after the episode drops where he's got a lot of great insight. So for example, I saw the cortosis thing like moments after I finished Acolyte from him.
Yeah.
So he's out there doing the work all the time. So he's another great follow, well worth your time. But more importantly, throw a like down on the recent video, throw down a nice comment.
Yeah. Maybe a subscribe.
Maybe a subscribe, maybe
if you're
follow.
inclined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just trying to spread the love, spread a little positivity out here, out beyond the Dune Sea. Yeah, travel out beyond the Dune Sea. Check out these other people.
Yeah.
I don't know why I put those guys back in.
Yeah.
We might draw them again next week. Because I don't
Later.
And of course, those links will be in the description down below. I'm also kind of stacking them with all the previous weeks. So check out all those other creators that you see down there. But now it's time for the fan questions. Jojo_Swaggins. Do we think Chimere's line, "Don't you recognize me," means more than just from Olega? Yeah, I think so. I don't know, actually.
They're brothers.
They're brothers.
Long lost brothers. Don't you recognize me, brother?
I think that...
Well, they're definitely not father, son.
I would venture a guess they're not. No.
Cousins.
Cousins, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
What's that joke? I am your cousin's father's
it's
brother,
like,
son.
yeah, that's from Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like father's brothers, nephew's son's former roommate. Something like that.
I think so. I think we'll see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Rebel_scum_art_apparel. Is Chimere a Knight of Ren? I don't think so. That certainly calls it into question. And the helmet.
I mean, weren't we calling him Smilo Ren?
Smilo Ren.
Yeah.
Kylo Gren. I heard that one this week.
Kylo Gren. So there you go.
Star Wars Time Show. I thought that was a good drop.
Yeah.
I'm personally leaning towards Sith. Because another thing, I mean, he does say when he drops the Sith line, like, that the Jedi don't allow you to exist. I just think that's... Why say that if he's not... I don't think the Jedi wouldn't allow him to exist if he was just a rogue Darksider.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they may like give him a, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't.
Stern talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
take his lightsaber.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Darth_Sin_. Best episode yet, and very excited to see where this goes. Right there with you, brother.
Should have happened 2 episodes sooner. But yes.
Yeah. Might have been too little too late.
Yeah.
Zach Van Gundy. What metal can disrupt the flow of energy of a lightsaber? Is it Beskar or some other Sith trick?
Oh.
Cortosis.
It's cortosis. But I still, with the sound.
Sounds like it might be mixed.
I think it is. I think that's like the blue you see. I think that like you got the cortosis or Beskar, like what is that called? What is the...
An alloy?
No, but what's the technique to fix broken things that Kylo Ren does?
Kintsugi?
Yes, I wonder if it's some Kintsugi with Beskar and cortosis, because that's where my mind went.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
8-Bit Beard Co. Did he fling Master Soul to the other side of the planet? Why was he not in the main fight?
Dude,
I'm kind of there with you.
The geography of this sucked. I'm going to say it again.
It was weird.
I hate that. Like, again, it's something good about George. George always had a nice layout of where you can see, you knew exactly where they were going to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Good blocking.
Yes.
Alan DCG. These deaths are for sure different than any live action. What are your thoughts on this portrait of evil?
It was definitely shocking. I will give you that. This isn't, there was definitely a brutality to it. If that makes any kind of sense.
There was.
I mean, this isn't Darth Maul just running Qui-Gon Jinn through and then waiting for Obi-Wan.
The only thing I can even think that's close are 2 things. Palpatine killing the Jedi Masters, but even then it's not
so fast.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
The other thing
was
no
malice to it.
Vader walking through that village in Kenobi.
Yeah.
And he like rips that kid out of that like house.
Yeah.
And then like snaps his neck.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty brutal kills, but
yeah.
I mean,
I don't like Anakin killing the Separatist leaders. I don't really like him coming down the hallway in Rogue One, or Vader coming down the hallway in Rogue One, and that's probably just because people were dying, or they were they were like begging for their lives.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that. But this was different because like, you know, we know these guys are skilled, they're Jedi, they can defend themselves, but they couldn't defend themselves against this guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ali Nottam, anyone get Ahsoka vibes when Jecki went for the dual wield?
Yeah. Ahsoka-ing just as good as Ahsoka, in my opinion. That I'm happy that she got a moment to shine.
To be the cynical one for a minute, while I did like that, this is kind of what I've been saying about the show, though, and that it just feels very samey.
Yeah.
A lot of it just feels samey. It's like, oh, Jecki's just Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Soul's Obi-Wan.
Oh, gotcha. They're just taking...
Okay. But Kymir feels like his own guy.
He does.
So...
He does. I was going to ask, as of right now, where's Kymir sitting with like your... what would you put him on, like the villain
on
tier
the
list?
villains tier list?
Yeah, like granted, we don't know everything, but like just seeing
where
this,
he's sitting right now.
Yeah, this like after this outing, I was curious about that, what you thought. Because I'll be honest, I was pretty impressed with the whole like Jekyll and Hyde thing that was going on.
Hold on.
What's happening, folks? What's happening?
Believe it or not, I never took this down yet.
We can hold it.
So
yeah, we can just hold it.
Okay, so where's he sitting right now?
Right at this moment, yeah.
Okay, well, let's use your rule. He starts in C.
Yeah.
He is a dark wizard.
He is. Oh, man, he's in B now.
He killed a child.
He did. Oh, no.
He kidnapped a child.
He might be an A already.
Oh, man.
He's up there with Cad Bane. Like...
Okay, so I really have to start asking the question like about where he ranks with Shin and Kylo.
Yeah.
Right now,
I think ain't face turning. That's I think that there's like, because the whole thing with Kylo Ren is like that.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true, and that brings him down on the villain list.
Exactly.
Like, because right now I think that Kylo has more of a presence than Kymir.
Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, we also have more time with Kylo.
It's true.
But just as a villain, like as an evil person.
Yeah. And then I think there's still a lot of potential for Shin to turn out to be a good person as well.
Yeah, I think he's definitely above Shin right now. Okay, for now, he's an A.
Yeah.
I think he's an A.
And I think that he's higher than like the second sister, at least.
I don't know.
I mean,
second sister's got a lot of characterization though.
Yeah.
She might not be as evil.
Yeah.
But she's a good character.
So we can at least agree at
like
this point he's an A.
Yeah, let's just say A, because I mean I think that Balin, it's weird, like because I know you would probably agree he's better than Balin, wouldn't you?
He's definitely as a villain. Oh yeah, better character. No, actually, I need to see more.
Okay,
because I like the whole like that Balin's like this tormented Jedi that like he has to do whatever he's trying to do. It transcends the idea of good and evil. So I think that's really neat about Balin. I think. By the way, folks at home, I think Balin ended up way too high, in my opinion.
Oh, you made that clear. You made that very clear.
I made it clear. Well, guess what? They may have not watched that episode. That you need to relax.
Screw, go again.
We're back. Yeah, I think that he's at least an A tier. I think he's at least an A tier.
Yeah,
we can agree on that then.
Okay,
he's at least an A tier.
Okay,
like Thrawn, a floating A tier. Yeah. Is that what you're thinking?
A floating A tier. He could go up or down.
He could, yes.
I mean, I'd be surprised if he got an S. But
no, I'm not thinking that. But I think that he could drop to B. That's what I'm saying. But he's done too many bad things. He's up there though, in my opinion.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he's actually ticked all my boxes.
Isn't that crazy? He did tick all of them.
I think he's literally
all your arbitrary rules.
Shut up. I think that he ticked all 5 of the things that I thought that like what makes a good Star Wars villain. It's insane. Anyway, hey, also too, he's got a pretty insane like Jedi death count
already. Yeah,
that like because let's be honest. Well, I wonder who do you think that is? Grievous? Who's Anakin, maybe?
Who's got
the highest like Jedi death count?
Anakin. I mean, his assault on the Jedi Temple alone, we don't even know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how many of them are like scrubs? You know what I mean? That like, yeah, like it's probably Anakin.
Vader still went on like the purge afterward.
And then he was going and finding them and stuff, and the ones that didn't want to reform, he just killed. So yeah, probably him or Grievous. That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. What?
That took a turn. All right.
Yeah.
Star Wars Sith 66. Chimera said the Jedi might call him Sith, not that he is Sith. Interesting, Ren.
Knight of Ren. Maybe the Ren himself. Maybe that's the whole thing.
That'd be wild. I don't know.
He's just the Ren.
I wouldn't hate it. It's just like, it does feel weird that all roads seem to lead to the sequels nowadays.
All roads lead to Tross.
It really do be feeling like that, doesn't
true.
it? It's odd.
But I like the connective tissue.
I do
They're
too.
not just sitting out there being an epilogue to everything else.
I'm like, this time period, why take a time period that's before the prequels and tell a story about the Knights of Ren?
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's so random to me.
I agree.
Of all the time, like do that between
and
episodes.
They get so little screen time anyway.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like of all people, like tell me the story of how the Sith came to rise with Palpatine.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we so afraid of that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, if you're going to tell the story here in this time period, I feel like it's got to matter.
Yeah.
That's why that's why this book is sitting here. It's like,
we like this
y'all
book.
picked this time for a reason.
Yeah.
What I do think is weird, I don't know that Leslie chose this time for a reason. I think that she did. So the whole High Republic connection was an accident.
Yeah.
But I don't know that Plagueis was an accident. So I wonder if she intended there to be a Plagueis connection, but then it just so happened that it worked out to have a High Republic connection.
Yeah.
Because she's mentioned in interviews, it was like, hey, it was kind of a happy accident that this all kind of worked out with the High Republic.
No, this is like 100 years before, and that technically places it in the High Republic.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. But I wonder if that's because she was lining it up with this. Because why do you choose that time period? That's why... I know you've been on me about this. Other people have been on me about this. Like, guys are not going to connect it. It's like, then why place it in this time period? Like, you could have done this 500 years before.
Yeah, you could do it 5 years before.
Yeah.
You could do it a year before.
I mean, if you really didn't want to have any connection, place it 500 years before.
Yeah,
and you don't have to worry about it.
Nothing.
Place it 1,000 years before.
Yeah,
that way you don't have to worry about people freaking out about Kiadi Mundi.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like you chose this for a reason.
Yeah.
Metroplex_asylum. Where does this duel sit on the lightsaber duel tier list? Hang on a minute. No, I'm kidding. I don't have multiple boards. So.
Yeah, that'd be insane. I'm like, that doesn't exist. Whatever you're going for. That's tough. I need to sit and think about that for a little while.
So our rules for the lightsaber tier list were like,
why are they fighting?
Why are they fighting? Choreography.
Music.
And we had music kind of played a part into it, I guess.
John Williams being
I think it's tough.
B.
Like, do you consider the entire episode a fight?
I don't know.
Like, is it all that, or or do you have to break it up?
I don't know. I think high B, A.
I'd probably go. It's tough for me to put the entire fight as one fight, but then again, I guess if this was like the climax of an episode, it would be about that long.
Yeah,
and it would kind of move between all these things.
Yeah,
I'd probably go A.
Yeah.
I don't know where it would sit in A.
Yeah,
but
I would need to look at it because I hold S and A pretty.
Here's a good question: How does it compare to the Ahsoka fight, Ahsoka versus Baylan? Because we had very high praise for that fight.
I think I still like Ahsoka Baylan better because I like the reason why they're fighting more. Maybe once I get the full story, I will come to appreciate this more.
Even with the end of this fight, like with
him,
like with Soul kind of punching and all that.
There was some good stuff. Why do you like it more?
I think I do.
Okay.
I do agree with you. I like the reason why Baylan and Ahsoka are fighting more. I like the context.
Mm-hmm.
But
I also really like the setting. I love that they're fighting
and the
in the star map.
Yes. All of it kind of builds up better.
Yeah.
But
and then it's really more about protecting the map than their fight. That Baylan's just playing defense. I think that's really interesting.
But the stakes are way higher in this fight.
It's true.
From ACOLYTE.
And then also think about that you get that great moment where Shin gets hurt and then Baylan's like, fine, I didn't want to do this. That's
true.
There's a lot of good stuff. It's tough.
Because I think that those two and the fight with Anakin are like the three best Disney Star Wars fights, but I almost don't count the one with Anakin because I don't think I don't think you could credit that to Disney Star Wars. That's like Hayden's just that good.
Yeah.
He just has that residual.
Yeah. Dude's a unit. Then,
because unfortunately that's
I like
been
the fight in the woods with Kylo and Rey. If we're talking about now, if we're changing it to Disney lightsaber fights.
Yeah.
I really like that fight too.
That's it's up there with one of my favorites, but there's not, unfortunately, this is something they faltered at.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, man.
A-ish.
A-ish.
Floating A.
Katiesaurus.rex, what are some differences you see in this show versus other Star Wars Disney Plus shows? I'll tell you a similarity I see, and this is one I don't like. I think all of these shows are written like movies. And
It's weird to put chops in them.
yeah, so this is a problem The Mandalorian created, which is really interesting. So like The Mandalorian, I think, created a false sense of security for Disney Plus because The Mandalorian is an action serial.
Yeah.
It is a very specific type of serialized television that works extremely well. It is perfect for Disney Plus. Perfect. And so I think that the success of that told Disney, oh,
they'll just eat up Star Wars TV. It doesn't matter.
and same with Marvel. They were like, we got to do this everywhere. So then they took stuff that otherwise should have been a movie, 3-act structures, all this stuff, and just like, I'll just make it 8 episodes. And so now you get extremely drawn out plot lines. You get kind of half-baked storylines that should have been condensed.
I was going to say, you get 8-episode series that should have been 6-episode series. That
Like
Ahsoka was too long.
Ahsoka, I think it was a little too long, but I think it works better than most in a TV format.
Obi-Wan should have been a movie.
Should have been a movie. Obi-Wan, and you guys know I love that show, but it should have been a movie.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett probably would have worked better as a movie, aside from the 2 weird serialized episodes.
Don't even get me started about that show. Thank goodness we weren't reviewing.
You know what? You know, it's one of the shows that does work as a show really well. Andor.
Because they're just little bite-sized stories because they're 3 episodes.
Because it's written like a TV show.
Yeah.
But a lot of these shows are not written like TV shows. Like, I don't think The Acolyte's written like a TV show.
No, not really. Especially with that weird 3rd episode. And then only giving us part of it. And it's like, oh, so we're going to have a weird 3rd and 7th episode.
Like, imagine if we got all this in a movie. All the information would have been there. It would have been a nice flow of information.
Yeah.
But now you got to wait a week and it builds to frustration and stuff. And it's like, it's okay to frustrate your audience, but not for a week.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to just get a lot of unnecessary anger from your fans.
Yeah. There's enough of that out there.
So I see some differences from this show to answer the question, since I just talked about similarities. I think there's a lot more attention being paid to choreography, which is nice, as opposed to maybe Ahsoka. While I really like the Balin and Ahsoka fight, I think the final fight at the end, it's okay. The one with Morgan, it's not great.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the second Balin and Ahsoka fight where you hardly see anything. Yeah.
And then the one with Ezra, Ahsoka, and Sabine versus the Night Troopers.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Pretty boring too. Yeah, you could tell that they were not together, or at least I feel like they weren't together.
It's just not very good.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel like the cinematography is, I don't think it's insane. Like there's not been a shot yet in this that I've been like, whoa. Cause I think the best shot show has been The Mandalorian and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I thought Ahsoka, that has some like all-timer shots for me.
Yeah.
In Star Wars. The Mandalorian has some too.
Mm-hmm.
Some like all-timer. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
I've yet to see a shot in this show that I'm like,
just blew your mind.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's been some cool camera moves. There's been some good moments.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I don't see, I think that's part of the problem. I guess I don't see a whole lot of differences.
Yeah.
Any other thing to add there?
She asked, what are the similarities?
Differences.
No differences.
Versus other Star Wars Disney Plus shows.
Yeah. I mean, it's leaning really heavy on the mysteries. And I feel like that, that doesn't always work. Like, as you said, doesn't always work in favor of a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of my, that's been the thing I've noticed, where it's kind of like these kind of Scooby-Doo, oh, we got to figure out the question of the episode, but then we've got this overarching like big, like, yeah, in Mando it's always about like, what do they want with Grogu, but this feels like that this is more finite than that.
Yeah. Crafting _on_Ilum. Why do you think Soul can't tell that it's May impersonating Osha? Or can it be he just is waiting for the moment? I don't think he knows right away because I think he's too distraught.
Yeah.
But I think he will know quickly.
I mean, they even talk differently.
Yeah.
Like, that you can really see it, where it's like, here, get up. Like, I'm like, you're not even trying to sound like your sister.
Did you think it's weird, though, that they just leave?
Yes.
Like,
nothing,
nothing,
they don't check
right?
on anybody.
Yeah. They don't even check to see if anybody's maybe still alive.
Yeah.
They don't take lightsabers.
They don't grab anything. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe he's just getting her by herself and be like, what are you doing?
Like, maybe he's concerned. I mean,
yeah.
wants to get her to safety, I guess.
Yeah.
But I did find that odd.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of peace out. It's like just like, oh, leave the bodies there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is that shot in the trailer of Vernestra. It looks like she maybe she
on
goes
that
back
planet with the whip. Yeah.
Maybe she's going back to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
I do find that interesting. Tea time on Tatooine. Hey, why didn't you invite us? We're just hanging out beyond the Dune Sea.
It's true. We'll always meet for tea.
I guess the question is, will he really try to seduce Osha to the dark side or just use her? I think that's the same question.
I think that there's way more going on with them, or I think he needs both of them for some.
I think he just needs one.
You think so?
Because he tries to kill May.
Yes, that's true. It does seem like it was all to get to Osha.
Well, I think once he knows she's there, he's like, well, you screwed up, but she's here. So
it's true. Or, I don't know.
Just trading.
But he kind of knew. He told Soul that like he knew about training Osha and stuff like that.
Part of me wonders if this was part of the plan.
That's what I'm saying is like, I think ultimately it was to get to Osha.
Like it was training May just to
get
fully
Osha.
twist Osha to the dark side.
Yes.
Like it didn't matter which twin he got. It was just to give the other twin to the Jedi, let the Jedi do the dirty work of training her and also carrying the baggage of, the Jedi who did whatever dark deeds that they did.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
I completely believe that.
Yeah.
It was all for Osha, whatever that means.
Hungry Bookworm _ With 3 episodes left, I'm so intrigued on how this is going to end. Any theories on how it's going to end? Boy. The thing is, she said
find a triangular shaped device, and then it's going to open up, and then there's going to be a masked figure, and it's going to be Keanu Reeves. He's going to be like, so, you think you're the only acolyte? I want to talk to you about the Sith Initiative. Cut to black.
Is that who trained Admiral Enigma?
Well, I'm just doing with Keanu's like kind of like surfer voice. Yes, but yeah, like
that's hilarious. What's interesting is Leslie has intended this to be a multi-series show or season show. However, she does not know if she did not write this as if there were going to be multiple seasons. Yeah. So she threw everything at season 1. This was in that EW article, and she's mentioned this before. So this will have a hard stop.
Interesting.
So my question is like, how is this going to end? I think there's no way we don't get a tie to this. At this point, especially now that we know for a Sith Lord,
yes,
I think that Chimere is either Darth Venomous, maybe he's Darth Tenebrous. There's a chance he's actually Darth Plagueis. I think that would be that'd be a risk.
That would be a misstep. I feel like.
I think I also think that would be a misstep if that, because also that was not Plagueis's vibe, was to be all swinging lightsabers around.
No,
somebody did point out to me that Darth Venomous in this book, he does descend from a tree. He floats down from a tree.
Oh, yes, because he is above him, isn't he? Yeah. He
kind of floats down. Also, in that EW article, they mentioned that shot, they reversed that shot to make it more creepy.
Which is crazy to me.
I love that.
Yeah. That's filmmaking right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Dug that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
a lot of Dutch angles, too, in this episode.
I did.
Just making you feel uncomfortable. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of unsettling, unease.
Weird head tilts.
Yeah, you're just supposed to be creeped out by him.
Yep.
I think that's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to end. I think it may end with us getting to reveal the master.
Yeah.
Maybe Chimere doesn't make it. Maybe the Acolyte becomes the apprentice.
Maybe. That would be the way of the Sith.
Yeah, and then we get to see who really is behind
young
closed
Palpatine,
doors.
Perhaps.
They'd have to really jump forward in time.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right. He's not born yet.
Then just say that'd be quite a ways forward in time.
Yeah.
Star.wars.nerd00. Not a question, but to me it looked like everyone was on different levels using a saber. Such a great episode. I did like that. Like everybody seemed to be at different skill levels.
Definitely.
That was, and Chimere seemed to react differently to that. He was really toying with the red shirts.
Yeah.
But then he toyed with Jecki until she surprised him a little bit. And then Soul, he was taking him very seriously.
Very, very serious. Yeah.
_Brionosaurus. Oh no, Yord. Anyway.
No.
David _Furtado _15. Do you think Chimere is a Sith from the Bane line even after he told Soul he has no name? I'm sticking with it, and with the caveat maybe he's a Darth Venomous.
Yeah, I think he still is.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just think there's too much here. When you add up timeline, behind the scenes comments, he says he's a Sith Lord. The Jedi want him extinct.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not have this be an actual Sith Lord.
Well, we know that too, that like there's not many Sith floating around there.
Yeah.
That there can, at this point in time, there can only be two. So why have a show that's not about one of the two of them?
And also, something we didn't mention during the episode, but another piece of discourse I've seen over the past 24 hours about how like, oh no, this breaks canon again because now the Jedi know about the Sith. Well, like, guys, remember, he says clearly, now all of you have to die.
He's going to kill all of them.
And so far, only Soul makes it off that planet. And guys, as far as we know, he has not made it back to the Jedi yet.
He's not going to.
So let's chill
And
until
who's
we
he
see the
with?
whole story. And exactly.
Someone who also wants to kill him. So maybe Chimera doesn't kill him, but I could see May killing him.
There's 3 episodes to go is the point.
Yeah.
Maybe we finally get to kill a Jedi without a weapon.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say this, that like maybe to kill a Jedi without a weapon is to get a Jedi to just completely break down. Maybe she does this to Soul.
Yeah.
He's clearly in a vulnerable spot.
Yes.
And final question from CL Cumbly. What's May's end game? Why was she always running away and now switching places with Osha? This is something I'm kind of confused about it too. I think at first she was just trying to get away so that she could reconnect with Osha, but now that Osha has kind of rejected her, she now has to switch gears again. And I think Seth had a great call that now she wants to take Soul out of the game to maybe change Osha's mind again.
Then they're by themselves. And then she has no choice.
But the only wrench into that is why leave her on that planet by herself?
Yeah.
I think that's odd, especially if you don't know that Chimere's dead and you know how dangerous he is. So you're risking your sister being at least in a jungle by herself that she doesn't know how to navigate, or at worst with a dangerous Sith Lord.
Yeah.
So her motivations are weird to me. I'll keep an open mind going forward, but so far these characters have not made sense to me. So we're not on a good track record of them making sense to me going forward.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that?
I think that's the only thing that she could be doing, is that it's like, all right, let's remove all temptation. You're tempted by the Jedi, so let's get rid of it. And then I'm the only answer because you have no one else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Whew. What an episode.
Wow.
Pretty good.
What a journey.
Would you put it up there with live action Star Wars episodes?
I think it's definitely fun. I think that it's at least A tier, floating A tier of live action Star Wars episodes. Yeah.
I saw someone point out that the 5th episode of Star Wars shows just don't miss. So you have episode 5 of The Mandalorian. That's the Ahsoka episode.
It's true. Season 2. But
season
season 1 was terrible.
Yeah.
That's the fake
cherry picking.
Yeah, that's the fake Dash Rendar episode, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you have Boba Fett. That's the Mandalorian episode.
That is true.
Arguably one of only 2 good episodes in that show.
Yeah.
And then you have Ahsoka. That's Shadow Warrior.
Yeah, that is good.
So
interesting.
Interesting. Fun connection.
Yeah.
But it is cherry picking because go back
what is the 5th episode of Mando season 3? Is that the one where they go and save that kid from the pterodactyl?
I actually think that's the Jack Black episode.
Oh,
funny enough.
Maybe that's it. Well, Captain Bombardier. Isn't that his name?
Yeah. I could be wrong, but that's like episode 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Which it's funny. I don't hate that episode like everybody else does.
I just think it's clearly, it's wasting Bryce Dallas Howard's talents, in my opinion.
Did she direct that episode?
She did.
I guess I didn't realize that.
Yes, she did.
She's coming back for Skeleton Crew.
Really?
Yeah.
That woman's too talented.
She's great.
Yes. Give her a movie.
Yeah, no, please.
Yes.
I'd love to see her have a movie.
Yeah.
Have her do that Patty Jenkins movie, The Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Since we're being weird about Patty Jenkins now after Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah.
Like give Bryce Dallas Howard that spot.
Well, I mean, if Dave doesn't want to direct his Mando movie, give it to Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh, he wants to direct his movie.
I know he does.
I want Dave to direct his movie.
Yeah, I get that. But
I want Bryce to direct a movie too, but I want Dave to direct his movie.
Wait, yeah, what? No, John's got the
Mando movie, but Dave's got, people have also been calling that a Mando movie. It's like the Heir to the Empire movie.
Gotcha.
The big like end game movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, next week, episode 6.
Yeah.
Unknown territory. Who knows where we're going? I firmly believe that episode 7 will be the flashback episode given the directors.
Yeah.
So I think next week we're going to be uncovering probably some training with Chimera and Osha. I hope that now we're officially in the bad guy story territory.
I hope so.
Finally.
We could get like a story about the bad guys now.
Well, because now May is with the other good guy and our previous good guys
Our
with the bad
hero is
guy.
with the bad guy.
So-
So maybe we can get some stuff from the point of view of the bad guy.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're finally here. We
Yeah.
made it.
We're here.
So
Yeah.
I'd like to see that next episode.
Mhm.
And yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to get
Yeah.
back into the Acolyte. It's this episode was fun.
Yeah.
I'm just really intrigued to see how it all ends at this point.
Totally.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
As always, guys, let us know. What did you think of Acolyte episode 5 titled Night? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? As always, let us know why. Give us your comments. But keep it nice. Keep it civil. Let's have a fun conversation. And we will see you all next week.